Okay, so there are a lot of YouTube videos going around about people's personal experiences with being catfished. Many of you know there is a um, popular TV show that was based on a documentary by that dude Neve, who was catfished himself. Um, this happened to me when I was about 18. I'm almost 27 now, so this was way before webcams and Skype and FaceTime and all that stuff that people use now to communicate with people that they can't communicate with in person. One of my best friends at the time, I don't know if you guys remember LiveJournal, but she took it upon herself to take my pictures and my AIM screen name and put it on a lesbian LiveJournal community without telling me because she wanted me to, meet someone. And it's hard, when you're 18 and you are living in a world where technology is limited and you're not exactly, I wasn't exactly out to everyone and it was hard to meet people, whatever. So one day I'm on AIM and I get this message, this instant message from this person um, who called herself Katie. And she said that she had seen my LiveJournal post and thought I was cute and wanted to talk to me. And I had no idea what the fuck she was talking about because my friend didn't tell me that she had done that. So, Katie showed me the link and all this stuff, whatever, and she sent me a couple pictures, and she was really cute, and we had so much in common. And after we spoke on AIM for, like a few days, we exchanged numbers, and she ended up calling me. And we talked for hours. Like, she was awesome. And she told me some weird stuff. Like, she told me she had an identical twin, that she lived in North Carolina, that she went to the University of North Carolina, and that she was just about to turn 21. And she told me that her family was filthy rich, all this stuff. I didn't really care. I just liked her. I thought she was cool, she was hot, like, it was whatever. So, we continued to talk for months. And every time I would suggest, like meeting up, she would come up with some excuse like, oh, well, my dad's dying, or um, she would say, oh, I'm going to be in Buffalo, which is where I live. We should hook up and, meet up and go out, whatever. And it never ended up happening. And at 18, I was still coming to terms with my sexuality. And so when she wanted to be my girlfriend, I was over the moon. I was like, this is awesome. This is my first real girlfriend. Like, I had, that obligatory lesbian, in love with your best friend type thing before that, but never anything concrete. So we were girlfriends, and um, we started talking in April of 2006, I think, and it went all through the summer. And finally, in like October or November, she told me that her dad was dying, and she just wasn't ready. She couldn't be in a relationship because she had so much going on in her personal life. And I was sad, but I understood. And so we stopped talking. And then, funnily enough, She used to use Yahoo Messenger. I know you're familiar with maybe AIM, MSN, whatever. But this is, almost 10 years ago. And so I went on to her Yahoo Messenger account because she had given me her password. And I started talking to someone. And I told this girl, I'm like, this is not Katie. Like, my name's Jess. Katie was my girlfriend. I was just sort of like trying to find some answers. She wasn't taking my calls. And so this girl and I actually ended up bonding and becoming friends. She lived far away, and we hit it off so well that she ended up flying me out to see her. And she lived in Hawaii, which was awesome. So I got to spend like 3 weeks in Hawaii with her, and she was cool, whatever. And then I got a phone call from Katie saying, I can't believe that you went to go see Brandy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, I haven't talked to you. Like, you won't take my calls, you won't return my text messages. I didn't really, think that you cared. And she got very defensive. And I forgot to mention this before, but she had shown me a photo of a person that she called her cousin named Megan. And she was like, "Oh, isn't my cousin Megan like so adorable, whatever, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Whatever, she's your cousin." She was not the most attractive girl to me. Um, to someone else, she, could look amazing. But to me, I just, was like, whatever, like, why are you showing me this picture? So after I got back from Hawaii, she called me and she said, "Do you want to celebrate my birthday with me?" And she had originally told me her birthday was in March, or I'm sorry, in May, when in fact it ended up being in March. She showed me her real MySpace page, which was the cousin. So basically, she had ended up lying about everything, about what she looked like, where she was from. She never had a twin sister. Her family was not filthy rich, which doesn't matter, but like just like pathological shit that, you don't need to lie about when, you're talking to someone who genuinely cares about you. And it was very surreal. Because I still had feelings for Katie, the girl that I had, talked to and had been dating, cyber dating for, 8 months, whatever. I felt like that person died. And she told me her name was Megan. And Megan wanted to come and see me and, try to make things right. And I wasn't sure at first. I was still mourning. I was mourning the loss of this person that never really even existed, even though she did exist in this other person who I had never been formally introduced to. So I agreed to let Megan come out and visit me. Turns out she lives in Pittsburgh. I live in Buffalo, so it's only a 3-hour drive this whole time. So she came to see me, and we spent a couple days together just hanging out and talking and working through our stuff. Because, she explained to me the reason why she did what she did was because she wasn't happy with the person she was. And she created this persona to make herself feel better. I don't think she fully realized like the effect that it would have on me. She also did it to her ex-girlfriend. Chelsea, who I've met. Ironic. There's just a bunch of crazy stuff about that whole story. Excuse me. So, she came to visit. I just, and it wasn't so much like the way she looked or, whatever. It was just that she lied. She lied about so much stuff. And it all came flooding back to me like the red flags that I should have been aware of before. Now, mind you, again, this is 2006. There's no Skype. There's no FaceTime. Basically, I had to buy a $20 webcam from Target and hook it up to my computer that was the size of a fucking house. And there were so many nights where I would sit online with her. I'm on the cam, and she would tell me, oh, hers is broken, or she didn't have one. And I just was so infatuated with her. And I hate to say that I loved her because I didn't really know her that long, but when you're 18 and you have those feelings of like, oh my god, butterflies everywhere, like, your judgment sort of goes out the window when you're young. And so there were so many nights where I'd sit on cam and I would, take my clothes off, stuff that, and it's stupid on my part, for doing that in the first place. I should have known better, but stuff like that just sort of started, coming back to me, and how I should have realized sooner that she wasn't exactly who she said she was. And so long story short, she came to visit. We talked. The glare is killing me. Sorry. And when she went back home to Pittsburgh, she was driving, and she texted me and she said, I forgot something. And I said, what? And she said, my heart. And I was just like, oof, I can't do this, dude. Like, I was mourning the loss of this person that I truly cared about, who I thought was real. And she wanted me to just, like, get over it and accept, the reality of the situation without questioning her. My nose is really red. I got sunburned. I went sailing the other day. Sorry. So, long story short, she went home to Pittsburgh, and we kept in touch. I saw her one more time. I let her come visit. I felt bad. I felt like, this person hates herself so much that she felt the need to create a whole nother persona in order for someone to care about her. And I don't know what that's like. I have enough self-worth, self-respect, self-love, that if you don't like me for who I am, or what I look like, or where I come from, or what I have or what I don't have, then you can go fuck yourself. So I did try to maintain some sort of friendship with her. But she was in love with me. She wanted to be with me. She wanted more, and I just couldn't do it. It's a very, like I said before, it's a surreal feeling when you're in your little 18-year-old mind, you're in love with somebody, and that person just suddenly ceases to exist. And she kept saying to me, it's still me. That girl that you've been talking to, I'm still her. I'm just in a different body and I lied about some things. And I'm like, it's not just that. Like, I thought I was in love with Katie and now you're telling me you're Megan and you want me to just accept it and deal with it and continue on this fucked up path with you. And so I stopped talking to her for a while. Um, and then, we became Facebook friends. This is now the year 2013. This past Halloween, I went to Pittsburgh. She was having a big party and invited me, and um, so you can see this has been a very long, ongoing internal struggle for me, whether or not I should maintain a friendship with this person who basically broke my heart. So I went to see her at Halloween, this past Halloween, and we went to a bar that was having a party for lesbians, and it was like a costume party, and me and her and a bunch of her friends dressed up as characters from Legends of the Hidden Temple. And so we go to this bar, and I recognize this girl, and I'm like, Chelsea, and she's like, Jess. And I'm like, holy shit, dude. And she's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm with Megan. And she's like, why? That bitch catfished us. I'm like, yeah, well, I guess I'm just too nice. So yeah, so that's my story. After I went back home in November after the Halloween party, Megan and I were speaking semi regularly, and she expressed interest in um, wanting to date me. And I said no. And so now she's blocked me from all social media. She won't, be my friend, which is fine. I have plenty of friends. But I thought that I would share the story and let you know that this is a real thing. I'm very cautious. The last few girlfriends I've had have been like in real life people, like I've met through friends or family, whatever, and not an online long distance thing. I won't ever do that again. But if you do, these are some red flags to look out for. Number one, is this person willing to video chat with you? If they're not, there's something wrong. Unless they're dirt poor and don't have a computer, which is probably not true, since how else would you meet them? Number two, if you try to make plans to meet and they keep coming up with excuses, there's just something fishy. And I think that the TV show Catfish sheds some great light on experiences like that. But I watched that show and I'm like, these people are fucking stupid. Like, if in 2006, when I was 18, if I had had the technology that we have now, I would not be in that position. Because there's no reason why a person can't get on a Skype call or a FaceTime or send you a quick little video message, whatever. Because back then, I'm pretty sure my phone was an indestructible Nokia with those interchangeable faceplates. And so, moral of the story is, don't trust people from the internet unless they can prove to you that they are who they say they are. So that's my story. Hopefully, she has learned from it and will not do it to anyone else. I don't think she has. I think that me and Chelsea, her ex, are the only ones that she had done it to. I know that she's dated some people since then, which is good. It made her realize she can get people on her own. She doesn't have to pretend to be someone else. Um, so my advice is to just be cautious, be aware, ask questions, get proof. If you're going to go about the long distance online thing, I know it's very popular now for lesbians, especially, to meet on websites such as Tumblr. There's so many fucking lesbians on Tumblr. It's crazy. Or Instagram, whatever. So if you meet someone online who lives far away from you, do not, please do not get yourself emotionally invested until you can have 100% certainty, absolutely no doubt in your mind, that this person is who they say they are. Because it's devastating. It's like a a death of someone that you really cared about. Um, so that's really all I have to say about that. Um, and I hope y'all are having a fantastic evening or day, whatever time it is, wherever you are watching this. Anyway, I don't plan on making myself some kind of YouTube sensation person. Um, I don't really have that much to say about anything else, so this is my story, and thanks for listening, and take care.